and Caitlyn is still available. Again, just because Caitlyn failed last time around, it's still such a powerful tool right now, pushing power towards the bottom lane. If you get the right support, Lulu doesn't have the same type of range and oppressive laning power like a Lux, like a Karma does. So if you pair it with a stronger early support than that, then you can live the fantasy of Caitlyn, pushing in those minions, get your turret plates down early on, start wearing away at them and get that tower gold, start rotating around the map to really supplant your control early in the game. Well, looks like they might do it again.
Yeah, we got that Caitlyn locked in for Hunted Thieves. Dignitas, they want their most prioritized pick of the draft to be that
range.
Jarvan.
You need range
there
though.
for River.
More range with it.
Okay.
More is better.
All right.
There we go.
Caitlyn Karma. There you go. There you go. That's what you were wanting, right?
Exactly, exactly. Put some more range with it. They actually are like, oh, you know what? That Karma really hurt with the Qs on the minions pushing the wave as well as her harassment. Let's take that one away. Again, they forego the Lux. Don't expect her to show up here now, though. Okay, so with Jarvan locked in once again here for Dignitas, that also might deter Hunted Thieves from stuff like Victor, because you don't want to be multiple immobile carries. Quickly, Thresh Aphelios picked up an answer here to the K Karma. That's not nearly as strong of an early game answer to the Caitlyn lane as they had last time around. Don't expect them to have the same sort of control, but it is something when you pair with the threat of a Jarvan. The other way to attack Caitlyn lanes is to gank them super early.
Yep.
We saw it previously in multiple leagues where you can get level 2 ganks. Guess what? Jarvan's perfect at that. Towards bottom lane. If you throw them off with your timings on your path and gank bottom super early on before they've stacked up the wave, before they've got the momentum rolling of chunking you out in lane and pushing you in constantly, then you can try and upset that balance. So Thresh and Jarvan, definitely some playmaking ability here, but it's very punishing if you take that swing and you miss.
Yeah, buddy. Well, the response from Hunted Thieves, they're going to go ahead and lock in Viego for Closer yet again. Although they didn't get a win last game, Closer is historically incredible on this champion. It would make no sense to switch that aspect of the composition up, I don't think. So very similar stuff here. 2 out of 3 of the same picks for Hunted Thieves. Over on the other side, the bot lane very different, but the jungler's still sticking around. Now, one thing to keep in mind, this draft different from the last one, we have the roles synced up in the first half. It's bottom lanes and junglers here for both sides. So that does mean we're going to see similar bans from both sides too, as Hunted Thieves take Orianna off the table.
And that is most often the case right now with such high priority on carrying from bottom side of the map and solo laners looking for these counter picks and having these big trades with multiple bans, because there's so many things that you can try and throw out in solo lanes right now. So most teams are going for bottom lanes and jungles first. No surprise there. Locking them in, not giving away too much. And then you get all these focus bans on your solo lanes. The Orianna and the Victor both taken away here from mid lane. Again, you know, things like Syndra are other good options. You just keep going further down some of these longer range control mage options from the mid lane when you're trying to whittle down through here. And the Gragas, obviously the top lane tank build ban, trying to take it away. For me, when I look at these champ selects though, some of the big things that do stand out are Renekton, Ssumday's champions basically. His Renekton, Gnar, and now Gwen are like this most played, most reliable, most successful. And that is the one kind of wiggly point for Hunted Thieves, I feel like, where sometimes he can be extremely good, and brings exactly what you need, but it's not like a super wide array or versatile set of champions. So top lane is a place you can try and whittle down. They went for a Jace ban against him, which I don't know how much value to me that really has.
You don't sound like you're a fan, my friend. You don't sound like a fan.
I think because the other 3 Ssumday champs I listed, I would all have so much more confidence in him on any of those 3. Especially here, they've got Abba on, again, one of the long-range control mages that does not have an escape of her own and is against the Jarvan, and guess what? Also a Thresh roaming. So yeah, this is not Enchanter versus Enchanter. Support roams are very deadly here coming from the side of Dignitas. If you get time from bottom lane for Thresh to move, for Jarvan to move, that becomes difficult.
Well, hey, we got the Renekton just on the opposite side of what you were talking about, so that'll be on FakeGod this time around. Of course, Hunted Thieves saving Ssumday's pick for last means they will have the opportunity to counterpick that there in the top side, as Zoe is our final pick of the draft for Dignitas here. Blue piloting that one into the mid lane, and hey, here we go, here we go, here we go.
Oh, is it one of the 3?
Yeah!
One of the 3!
This is one of your 3, buddy, and it's locked in. Okay. So now that you see all 10, How are we feeling about these two drafts against each other? Who do you think got the edge here?
I think there is a lot of early option for playmaking there from Dig. You know, Renekton is very strong early on, but Gnar is going to be a very good option for safe and for scaling for later. So we'll see how Ssumday can play this. Again, since he has got years, many years in multiple regions, Renekton was his most iconic champion in Korea as well. On this champion, he knows damn well the ranges and how to play well around Renekton, even when navigating the small treacherous point for Gnar, which is mini Gnar in early levels when your range is the shortest and you're facing a Renekton plus Jarvan, something that can easily gank you, something that can easily take advantage of your mini form and those windows. So we'll see how safe he plays. If he's able to avoid those kill opportunities, then he'll be a big force for the team fights for later on. Similarly, on the other hand, FBI and Huhi this time around, you've got no excuses for not pushing in hard on bottom side and having a bottom side lead. You invested Caitlyn and Karma picks into FBI and Huhi. That's gotta return you some early gold. If you don't have some turret plate lead, if you don't have some pressure on bottom side, then there's going to be some answers that need to come out from coaching.
So one of the things that I'm looking at here across the table on the bottom side is the fact that Neo's on a very different champion this time around, right? Aphelios versus Ezreal, hyper carry versus long range poke. The last game, those fights that Dignitas won, some of them, they actually had more dead bodies on the floor, but it was the fact that you had Ezreal in that range and that poke. So this time around, things will have to be a little bit different because Aphelios doesn't command the range and the ability to 1v4 the same way. He can 1v4, it just looks very different.
It does. And you have to get the right gun to be able to have some range too, and it's not nearly the similar situation. So definitely agree there. He is pretty well equipped to deal with some of the shorter range engagements. And Viego is going to have to be careful there. Closer, have to pick and choose his moments when going for those engagements. And again, for Dig, I really want to highlight their playmaking ability from this draft. This is what they've got in spades here in game number 2. River, I think, has performed really well so far this series, so far today. And especially considering how recently he got here and hasn't had a bunch of time with the team. He's on Jarvan. He's got lots of lanes with setup for him. Thresh, bottom lane, go there, gank this Caitlyn Karma lane so that they don't get to just isolated 2v2 poke push you. Make them sweat, make them use summoner spells, make them have to worry for their lives. Level 1 invade though from 100 Thieves will get them some pretty deep vision. Neo's gonna have to walk his way out as soon as he sees.
Yep, he doesn't want nothing to do with this. Luckily, they all walked the other direction from where he walked, so he can just continue moving on out of here, I would think. All right, yeah, him and Blue are both fine. They might take a little poke over the wall, maybe. But nope, not even that. So 100 Thieves will walk through here. They don't see a whole lot. Closer has changed up one thing this game. Instead of using normal spooky Viego, he is pentakill Viego, which I think is much better.
All right, and he's looking for pentakills. He's gonna have to carry this team. Now, I want to highlight how important the level 1 is, because again, as I highlight River and the Jarvan and the playmaking ability, so much of it comes out of some early kill threat on these lanes, on both side lanes, either the Renekton lane or the Thresh lane. And so if you go for the level 1 invade, even if you don't take anything away, getting the vision and knowing River starting here, being able to track River from red should give them some more safety. Now you have to keep up with your jungle tracking though, and the small bits of information that you get. They also warded the Raptor Brush, so you can see him if he exits the red quadrant, and that will alert their bottom lane for Huhi and FBI to be able to go full harassment. Right now, of course, when you are level 1 starting there for Aphelios, always has a pretty good start because you're guaranteed to start green gun and red gun, the best for laning. You've got your range that you can actually match Caitlyn, and you've got the sustain for red gun. That being said, your Karma push is undeniable from Huhi, and the early wave control goes over to them as should be. They have not seen Jarvan exit this red quadrant though, so FBI goes over to fake ward the Tri-Brush. I love this from him, not spending extra resources and using that information that they have from their ward that was on the brush up by Raptors to not over-utilize their resources, since this is going to be a very important area of the map for them.
Yeah, this is going to be so dangerous if they're constantly pushed up, if they're applying that pressure like you said you wanted to see. River, we've seen how capable he is.
Over the wall. He went over the wall again. He's going to wrap around bottom lane. Clayton!
Oh, baby. River knows what he's doing on this Jarvan, man. He is so fun to watch. FBI and Huhi. They're backing up a little bit. River's still here. He has not shown himself just yet. All right, now he's going to back away. He'll go right back out to the crab, farm that one up, see if maybe there's another chance after.
Nice read and safe play there from FBI and Huhi. And that's actually the next level of information because they actually had fake warded from FBI and not real warded. They were not baited by the extra vision there. And so they do respectfully back off from the aggressive movement from Biofrost.
River does not quite have his Dragon Strike cooldown ready. He's going to lose a third of his HP to that. So a little unlucky for him, but good defense there from the 100 Thieves bottom.
Yeah, that was so cool. I love these extra layers of how they actually play with the information afforded to them. And respecting the movement from Biofrost, you know, the playmaking from the Thresh, but it's a big wave that they might get zoned off. River's still here.
River's ready to go. Huhi's underneath the turret, but it's going to be FBI focus first. Now they've got the CC down on the enemy support. Huhi stays alive, however, and a teleport is coming in. It doesn't matter if it's not unleashed just yet, but a good flash and a lantern for some safety means they're able to get out. Dignitas now looking for the re-engage. River goes in, smites the Gromp for HP, but now he's got to back away. Closer's ready. He's here, and he's going in on Bio. He sees the opportunity. River now flashing away. Abbeddage looking for the enemy support, and 100 Thieves have already found first blood. River wants to get away, but there is no escape.
Get over here! He picks up the body. He uses the hook. Closer! Man, this man has been on fire since the end of last year. I feel like he just got this Super Saiyan buff, Finals MVP, and continues to deliver. This was so aggressive from Dignitas. And a pretty good early look from River. You know, they denied a big wave from the Caitlyn Karma, pushing them off, but they don't respect the rotation of the rest of 100 Thieves. This is one of the things that you see a lot in solo queue where you kind of get lost in a play and you're playing to follow up again on a very aggressive play deep in enemy territory. Once Closer and Abbe come over, you are fully outnumbered. So Closer goes right in onto Bio, hits the stun, gets him low enough. Abbe goes finish off the kill, and because Closer had touched him, picks up the Thresh, flashes for the hook right out of the flag and drag, and pulls him over for another kill.
Nicely, nicely done. We come back to live to see Ssumday just running after FakeGod up here in the top lane. He's about to transform into Mega Gnar, so he knows he can utilize the range and speed of the mini Gnar, or what's left of it, to chase his opponent down. And now, 100 Thieves are loving this start, Kobe. That was great.
They certainly are. I love to see Closer get early kills. He's looking at setting up a possible dive with Ssumday right now, too. Ssumday uses everything, transforms into Mini.
Well, the Dominus has been unleashed from FakeGod, so he's able to stop that dive from ever happening as soon as the Mega Gnar ulti misses, and that level up comes through for FakeGod. You know he's just fine. Yeah,
Ssumday knew he didn't have a lot of time to work with, so they get the minion wave pushed in, and it is a cooldown blown, getting the Renekton ultimate down there just from the pass from Closer. He still has top Scuttlecraft to go for, doesn't have to get inefficient on his camps. But the bottom lane continues to get pushed off minion waves. Look at the CS, Flowers. Another big wave timed here for Dig. Another teleport from 100 Thieves invested to answer them just so that they can get some farm back on FBI here. Last time around, it was Abbe using his teleport to get down there to allow them to get back to the minion wave. Turned out very profitable for them in the double kills. FBI scrounges up as many of the CS as he can get. And while the goal of Dig of trying to dissuade and deal with some of the pressure of a Caitlyn Karma lane is technically working. If you just look at bottom side isolated, you know, they haven't been able to push up and get turret plates. They have been at a slight CS discrepancy. It's costing them elsewhere, and it's costing them in the lives of the other players.
Well, down here in bottom lane, they're still just farming on up. Things are going all right. First break of the game is a cloud that doesn't normally demand a lot of pressure. Teams aren't looking to secure that one super easy, so not sure how soon we'll see the objective.
And especially as you know, as a jungler, you're like, you see a cloud, you're like, that thing does so much more damage than the other dragons with the attack speed.
That thing's taking me down to a third health, where the other ones will leave me at 75% or something.
That's the scary dragon. A lot of the other ones kind of, you can solo with a lot of junglers.
They're just little lizards.
Exactly. The Cloud Dragon bites, okay?
Yeah, he's a strong lizard. Anyway, we got Closer down here in bottom lane. He's looking to see if there's a play to be made. If Neo and Bio want to go aggro, if they're going to get another gank. But we, of course, because of our perfect vision, know that there is no gank coming. And Neo and Biofrost can
Five-head, our perfect vision.
Yeah, we have just the foresight to be aware of these types of things, my friend. But total gold there you can see on the corner. It's Abbeddage leading the show by about 300 as Closer, Blue, and Neo and FBI are all right about the same spot right behind him there. So good stuff here for the mid laner 100 Thieves. Like you already mentioned, that teleport paid off for him, getting both the kill and the assist. Already has Sorcerer Shoot on the Syndra, but it's Dignitas heading over to try to grab the first objective in the game in the Rift Herald.
You already see some collapse coming through. Ssumday had topside push, so he's able to get into the river. He has just transformed into Mini though, so he's exhausted and not a huge threat. Dignitas have pulled their entire bottom lane. Up here, you see Aphelios crossing through mid lane. Smite.
Oh, it's going over to River. And now he's got level 6. Closer still only level 5. There's not that Viego ulti ready to go. They got FakeGod here in the middle of 4, but is it enough? Yes, it is. FakeGod's able to take down Abbeddage. Blue takes out Ssumday. Closer goes over the wall, and Dignitas looks for a third kill. Huhi is stuck, and he will not be able to escape. Blue gives him a paddling, and that is 4 damn kills, plus a Rift Herald for the side of Dig.
I like this from FakeGod, Flowers. The confidence to bring destruction on all these infidels thinking they could mess around with the Rift Herald fight. Flashes in, stuns up Abba, gets 1v4 in the middle, full healing off with the empowered Q, able to escape out the side with his life, takes down so many kills on the side of Dig. Look at this slingshot in gold, and they haven't even used the Rift Herald. They still have Rift Herald in hand and Zoe here. What a play. All right, here's another look at the smite even going their way with River, barely getting the Q plus smite damage.
Oh, Blue stays alive. Nicely done, buddy.
Nice dodges there. Again, Blue has not been able to purchase since all this money has flooded in to the Dignitas bank account, so he's going to go back to the ATM real quick.
Holy smoke, that is a lot of Renekton damage, and
Real God.
I hope you like dessert, because Caitlyn's got nothing but a big old donut there in the fight. There was no contribution to that because FBI was not really a part of what was going on. He wasn't there.
Yeah, was the last member of the bottom laners trailing up to the fight, and I believe was level 5 at the time of the fight, so didn't even have range to be able to get his ultimate off because he can level his ultimate up.
And that was a big thing for Closer too. No Heartbreaker, no Execute, no resets. Makes it a lot harder to play those team fights with Viego.
Certainly does when there's a big Renekton in the middle of everybody, causing havoc. Well kited there by Dignitas. Now Blue has been able to purchase on the Zoe. Again, still has Rift Herald in inventory too. So if they can get a mid lane gank, you know, some sort of pressure opened up to be able to get a big value out of this Rift Herald, you take down mid turret. Zoe is in heaven. This champion flourishes once mid lane tower goes down, because then you get to roam around. You get to throw out all these bubbles over the walls, sniping side lanes for kills, transitioning members between objectives, finding them and setting up big opportunities for you. There it is. When you've got the Herald, it's a no-brainer. Just bring everybody and force the mid play from Dignitas.
No reason not to.
Great in-game shot calling from them.
And there you go. They've already got 4 plates gone. Minion Waves and Shelly both taking a lot of pain here, so they won't be able to force down that 5th and final plate. The bonus resistances on the turret way too powerful after they've already used the true damage on the charge. FBI, of course, will be able to respond by getting a little bit of plate money of his own here in the bottom lane. The Drake's still alive almost 12 minutes into the game. Not prioritized at all, as both junglers are again here in the bottom lane. But Kobe, look at the difference in experience. River level 8 on the Jarvan. Closer only level 6 on Viego.
Yeah, River has been an absolute monster for them. Again, a lot of the early focus towards bottom side of the map, and they did get it turned around on them, but since then, so much regained. When you have a mid-Herald fight won in such a landslide, a one-sided manner like that, 4 kills picked up, that is so much map control as well, because your opponents can't even reset quickly to defend their wave. So oftentimes you get Rift Herald money plus 4 kills of money plus pushes on all your minion waves.
That's a lot of different money, my friend. We're compounding money on top of money, and 100 Thieves.
Diversify your investments.
Exactly. You have to have an impressive portfolio. And that portfolio for Dignitas is over 2,000 gold ahead of 100 Thieves now, as Biofrost rotates up towards mid just to make sure everything's cool here with Blue. You can see in the jungle, you've already got Gore Drinker up and running for River, so the Jarvan feeling very strong about his ability to jump in and tank in the middle of those fights. Next to the buddy Renekton there, these two will be a very formidable front line.
Certainly will. See about some purchases pretty quickly here too. FakeGod's heading back to base, doesn't have teleport, so they hold off on the dragon. River just goes straight through for the blue steal first.
Yup.
Try and wait for a bit of time. FakeGod actually cancels his recall and he's pushing one more wave to open it up. Now remember, 100 Thieves have teleport advantage right now, so Dignitas pull off a blue steal with a teleport disadvantage on the top side of the map, and forcing on Dragon will be able to get it simply because so much of an advantage pushing through from mid and bottom first.
And we're still at 13.5 minutes, so that teleport advantage does not feel as strong as it otherwise could. Ssumday can only go to a turret. He could only transport somewhere nearby. He can't quite get into the thick of anything, so now that that's taken down, second Drake of the game is going to be Hex Tech, and we'll see that one here in a few.
It's gonna be a while to really get used to that too, man, because so you've even seen some of the teams, you know, going for dives early on, and then they get teleported on, and they're like, oh man, I forgot it's the only time that you can actually teleport on me.
It's only defensive.
If I'm going for the dive. Bubble happens here.
Oh, follow-up comes through. That's a paddling. River picks up the kill. Ssumday arrives. His teleport is unleashed into nothing. So, all right.
Well, this mid turn's gonna go over. You get the dream Zoe situation. Biofrost coming up through the river or through the mid lane means they should be able to get it.
Oh, nice ward blocking on the lantern. That's a shutdown on River. Beautifully done from 100.
That's a nice one too. Double up. You get a green one as well as a pink one on top of it, covering both sides. Walk
the
away.
rainbow.
You had to pay for the mid turret, but it's a pretty strong investment regardless. 3K gold lead and a lot of territory here for Snake to work with.
That was a good hook. If FBI didn't have cleanse, he was about to be a real dead dude.
Yeah. It's so funny too, seeing with so many supports coming out with the glacial augments constantly. Whenever these CCs landing, still having the slow fields come out. Nothing made of it there though, and 100 Thieves will be able to start up and presumably finish this Riptailed as there's no Dignitas members around, so at least they'll get some pushing power back for themselves to try and right the ship. I mean, this is again another game where Caitlyn lane is not the team with the early advantage in map territory, and so Riptailed going to help them in that game plan. No turrets taken as of yet for 100 Thieves. Dignitas still running the map here. Off of their reset, they got River right back out onto the map, and double Gourd Drinkers for their front line that you were talking about for these bruiser front lines. They get to sustain and get so much health back in a lot of these situations are going to create really big openings for the Zoe Aphelios.
And what you were talking about the Caitlyn, I want to dive into a little bit more, because you said back in Champion Select, hey, you invested 2 of your picks into Caitlyn Karma. You want to see that early push. You want to see that lane domination. And this isn't a situation where it's like, oh, well, 100 Thieves just screwed it up. They didn't play it right. Dig did a great job answering. They did a great job applying the pressure through River, through the dives, through the ganks that you were talking about. And I'm just really impressed with the cohesion of this Dignitas squad here in this festival.
Yeah, definitely. They have a very clear game plan. They have constantly tried to move this forward, pushing down towers, remaining on the offensive, utilizing that advantage. Again, if you're thinking back to how we got to this game state, the biggest thing is the Herald fight. That's where they gained their big momentum. Definitely credit to River for early on, you know, the multiple ganks, as you said, the kill pressure is what they use to try and force FBI and Huhi off some of the minion waves, force them to drop some of those and relinquish some of the pushing pressure that you would theoretically have with that range advantage.
Whoop, over the wall we go. Biofrost goes in. Huhi tries to go out. River puts him in the dunk bucket, and we got 1 kill, nothing here for Dignitas.
Biofrost is back, baby. Constant plays. Even on the Karma in the previous game, it's not flashy at all. But, you know, using your mantra for your shield speed ups later on in the game was a lot of the reason why we're shouting Neo and why we're shouting for the carries, the repositioning, extra heals. He played the lane extremely well both times too. I just love it when some of the more senior players come back and have, you know, some strong performances. So definitely credit to the Dignitas bottom lane as a whole, obviously. But now, Zoe with the Ludens plus another needlessly large rod of AP
so
on top of it.
Man.
I'm just waiting because we haven't seen much since the early 2 kills off the Rift Herald fight. But once you start getting blue roaming around, picking people off with these bubbles, that's where you get these these very low risk plays that can reward you with positioning on objectives and huge chunks in health that result in very tangible rewards.
It's always like the equivalent of that one boomer meme that says, this side, that side, I don't care, I just want to go fishing. Zoe just wants to go fishing for picks. It doesn't matter when, it doesn't matter where. If she can throw a bubble through the wall and find you, suddenly all your opportunities open up, and Zoe's the one making it happen. Blue sitting at 5 out of 6 kill participation with those items you already talked about, with the stopwatch in case he does get caught or have that pressure applied to him, in a great position to really drive this forward for Dignitas here in the mid-game. With that Hextech Drake up, it looks like Dignitas is just going to bring the boys down, be ready to take that one. Meanwhile, up in top lane, Closer will drop the second Herald of the game to facilitate a Tier 1 turret take here for Abbeddage.
Something, too, that people need to keep in mind when you're trading objectives like this, you see the extra resources Dig are already rotating over to the Herald push lane. You have to put a very high value on stopping Herald from getting 2 turrets. There is a bunch of extra gold put into turret number 2 on the outer turrets, both of the side lanes. So you actually will give up a huge amount if you and he closed the eye, so almost gets it off, opens back up and blue creeps off before the charge gets out. But if you allow counter pushes when you're focusing on Dragon or something like that, and give up, top outer turret plus a secondary turret, it can be a very big influx in gold into things like a split push area or something that you'll be worried about later on, and allow opponents back into the game. Herald pushing power must be respected, and Dig send over the appropriate amount of resources, with the bottom lane kind of clearing out the jungle pathway for them and not allowing 100 Thieves to push for any more.
Now, speaking of pathways, I do want to bring up something, because you mentioned it in the last game, how the Infernal Rift kind of opened things up a little bit more, so the Caitlyn traps weren't quite as effective. This time around, we have an Ocean Rift, so all the normal walls are going to be there, plus more brushes to hide the traps in, so maybe that'll facilitate a bit better of an environment for 100 Thieves, and particularly FBI, to be able to have that setup and that preparation here for the big fights. But down 3,000 gold and 2 Drakes, 100 Thieves are definitely fighting an uphill battle here, as Closer finds himself pulled in there by the death sentence. Sleep comes through on the Closer, he's ignited, he's ticking down, he's burning away. River goes back in onto the rest of the team as the final tick of the Ignite takes down the enemy jungler. FBI wants to run, but FakeGod comes a-knocking on his door instead. Abbeddage is down to 100 HP, he'll barely walk away. 100 Thieves are being dismantled, and Dignitas are the ones doing it.
Dignitas rise up. Where were you when Dig started a 2-0 crush? 100 Thieves in the lock-in tournament here. They are so far ahead in game number 2, unless there is a miracle steal or miracle pickoff from 100 Thieves. They are so deep behind in this game that Dignitas looking like they're already marching towards the finish line, my friend.
Forget marching, they're running at the damn thing.
Sprinting.
These guys are ready to go. I am loving this look for Dignitas. So many times when we see... All right, let's watch the replay first. I'll talk about this later.
All right, so vision is turned off. Control ward in the side lane brush here. Closer trying to move up. And it's just another great hook from Bio. Once the hook lands, makes it easy for the bubble to land. And Blue goes over the top. His Ignite, last tick of Ignite burns him down. He couldn't get close to Karma for the shield. Karma gets annihilated by River. Another great engage with the Jarvan. They made such good use of the Cataclysms over and over and over, finding these picks. And Dignitas, they had a lot of playmaking and Champ Select to utilize, and they made use of it. Especially, again, can't emphasize enough that Rift Herald fight where they got so much of a lead. It's just absolute domination now.
Holy moly, man. This is awesome to see. And the thing that I was going to say before the replay is, oftentimes when we see lower-ranked teams play up against higher-ranked teams, even if they get ahead, they struggle closing out the game. They struggle turning that lead into enough to win. And that's what I'm loving so much about this Dignitas squad when they're finding these leads, is they're driving it forward. They're moving it ahead, and they're continuing to build. And now I want to see how much they can get out of this next minute and a half of there.
And guess what? There's no flash on Closer, Abbe, or FBI. All 3 primary targets that Dig want to kill, their wanted posters are up, and the reward,
we looking for them bounties.
The reward is huge. Those targets are big on their backs.
All right, Sleepy Trouble Bubble's gonna be flying out constantly as the poke goes out and Dignitas goes forward. Tier 2 turrets are collapsing all over the place. Dignitas, a 5-man squad pushing up top, not bothering with the traditional split push approach of the Baron buff, instead just trying to use their muscle and force their way into the base. The top lane tier 3 turret being whittled away now. Neo having the perfect gun for it with that green gun, with the extra range, allows him to apply the auto attacks from a safe distance. So he'll switch back over to blue, clear everything out here, and then Dignitas continues the push. I expect 100 Thieves might be trying to really defend here on this one, but River's already ready to go in. He starts off the fight, and Abbeddage is going to lose a lot of HP. FakeGod's able to take Ssumday so low, it's going to be Closer dying first. Abbeddage tries to get himself out as blue goes on a rampage, and Dignitas have 2 dead. They'll take out the inhibitor, they'll block the bullet. They'll keep on clearing out this wave. They're sending one back. Blue should be able to teleport right back into the fight now, and yes, they've got him ready to go. River's still here looking for any sort of a chance he might be able to get. More minion waves coming up. Dignitas is looking at Nexus turrets, but they've only got 10 seconds until 100 Thieves are back and ready to go. Is this an overstay from Dig? It appears so. Blue now flashing away, and it looks like Dignitas, you can see there, sad kitty, they didn't get everything they wanted, but damn did they get that inhibitor.
And they're working overtime. It's only 24 minutes into the game, and they feel like they gotta end it. They've just absolutely destroyed the top side of 100 Thieves base. Because they invest pretty heavily in it, 100 Thieves will get one of our coveted bounties. Gold bounties on the neutral objectives are based at 500 and increase with the amount that you are behind. Huge cash in there. They get an objective bounty. They push off the complete breakpoint of the soul point here for Dignitas. They get a huge cash in of gold as well, but all of that is a drop in the bucket compared to how far they were behind. So you may have maximized your efficiency of the bounty, the size of the bounty that you get, but it's never a good thing to see the bounties. It's like a badge of shame. You're like, oh man, we are really behind here.
You know what it's like? You remember back in the old rank ladder thing? I don't even know if it's still there, but the thing that said, the little badge that said this user has played 100 games in this division, the badge of shame, like, yeah, you're a hard stuck diamond badge. There you go, buddy.
It's a stamp on your forehead. This user has played 500 games in the same tier.
How has he not ranked up yet? Clearly, he's not reviewing his gameplay.
You're like, please, throw that badge in the garbage.
I'm already struggling here. Come on. All right, we got waves pushing up mid and the team pushing up bottom. Caitlyn traps have been set up defensively around the bottom lane tier 3. Blue lands the sleep onto Huhi, but will not be able to follow it up with any big strike, as now we're gonna see the ace in the hole not do a whole lot as it is intercepted. Dignitas continuing their push down the bottom lane here. FBI trying to stand up and clear the waves away, but now he's got to back up as Neo finds a chance to do some damage. Neo, however, losing about half HP there, has to back away. Closer rotating back over to mid. FakeGod now applying pressure. The 1-4 split. And remember, the super minions are an extra bit of a split because of the amount of free pressure they have in top lane. Dignitas is really trying to hit him from all angles here.
And I think they're succeeding. Every angle has landed a hit. Up the center, around the side, even through the walls with Zoe bubbles. Really, every angle is an opportunity when you're Zoe.
You love to see it. The Banshee's Veil now completed as well makes it that much harder to poke or punish. Holy cow, there's your Infinity Edge for Neo. So we've got Aphelios at that hyper carry point. 3 items, one of them being Infinity Edge. This is where those hyper carries really start to change the landscape of team fights, and Neo is 4-0-4 and ready to do it.
All right, we got to look at it from the difficult perspective. The 100 Thieves, backs against the wall. Elimination match here. This is only a best of 3.
Yeah.
It is a series, but they're already at series point. They have to make a massive comeback here. And I'm looking at the long-range stun from Abbe. That is the most reliable way to do it. Since they don't have flash on Ssumday, the Gnar gauge is going to be very difficult to pull off. You mentioned already, it's hard to pull off on Zoe now because of Banshee's Veil. He's got to come up with a hero play, scatter the weak, finding Neo. There's no flash on Neo, so it is a possibility.
Oh no, Closer, the ruined king is ruined, and Blue is unstoppable. Dignitas managed to find a lot, and now Neo's gonna help him find a little bit more. Double kill over to Blue, and 100 Thieves are heading for the hills. Ssumday tries to continue running all the way out, but Dignitas have done it! Ladies and gentlemen, where were you when Dignitas cut down the reigning champs in quarterfinals? And they did it 2-0. Beautiful performances from the whole team. Deathless on 3 different players, and absolutely phenomenal from Dignitas QuantumPay.
I think we've officially entered Season 2 of the Dignitas Party Bus. They did it at the beginning of last year. Underestimated, bad news bears at the bottom of the standings. Nobody respects, nobody puts any sort of respect on their name, and they overperform everyone's expectations. They come out swinging here. 2 games, let's go home. Absolutely done and dusted here. Dignitas take down 100 Thieves, kicking them out so early.
You know, I think everybody was coming into today expecting a 2-0. I don't think anyone was coming into today expecting that 2-0. And wowie, what a showing from Dig.
Definitely, a lot of respect here. There's so many things. Individual plays, yes, but as you mentioned multiple times, coordination and sticking to a lot of the game plans, you know, continually pushing the game state forward. Nobody wants to watch some of these teams that we have had in the past lying back, waiting for missed opportunities.
Yeah, no, none of that.
Instantly going to sleep. Constantly, though, pushing it forward. I put a lot of credit for River, especially for this. Seems like he knows exactly how he wants to play. He's working well, communicating with the lanes that he wants to play off. Aggressive invades, you know. Yes, he's playing Jarvan, and so it's a champion well-equipped to skip camps and go for ganks and set up his teammates. But they're in well-coordinated places, you know, trying to push people off of minion waves, getting some value, whether or not they actually even find the kill on some of these plays. It's always fun when you have some of the teams ranked at the bottom. Again, Dignitas, if you follow the draft order of the teams themselves for lock-in, Dig was 10th. Last picked in dodgeball. Nobody wanted them. No one was scared. No one pushed them to the other group.
But they got an arm like a cannon. And now that they have delivered the cannonball to 100 Thieves, we're breaking down the win with the State Farm Analyst Desk.